to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 293 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Thursday, August 31st, 2023. I'm your host, Derek Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, we're finally doing it. We're finally recording.
Thursday.
Yeah.
It's our rabid fan base is just pawing at us, trying to get a content. And here's the content. We are here.
Yeah, we had, so hockey season starting up, and the Saginaw Spirit, who I shoot photos for, had their training camp this week. So that was Monday and Tuesday for me. And then we were supposed to record yesterday, but thanks to a cable company that I won't name, but their name rhymes with Charter or Spectrum, I had no internet last night and finally got it back about, 10 o'clock at 9:30 last night, and that was too late to record. I'd already pulled the plug. So here we are tonight with good internet.
That's right.
It's fast now, though, now that I got this new router instead of the 13-year-old one that I had before.
Oh, zippy. That's good.
Yeah. That was the problem, is they shut my internet off. That's a long story. And then when they went to turn it back on, my modem was so old that they couldn't reactivate it. So
Right.
Of course, I went and got a new modem, came home, and it still didn't work because that's just how it is. So,
Ugh, God.
But it's working now, and I didn't have to invite anybody in my house to fix it. So
I was going to save this story, but now's a good time to do it.
Sounds good.
So you said Charter, right?
Yeah.
And we use Charter here for pretty much everything because that's really the only option we have.
I mean, as much as I rag on them, it's the only good option we've got.
It's the only good option we have in our area. So I've been meeting with this person every once in a while in my real world work. I come across these NASCAR people. I came across one today. So do you remember when Dish Network sponsored Roush Fenway? Well, it would have been Roush or Roush Fenway back then.
Yep.
I have been talking with this gentleman for this new company that I'm looking to do some work with, and he's the one who brokered all of the Dish deals for Roush.
No way.
And I was like, wow, that's amazing. He goes, yeah, it was a terrible investment. I'm like, yeah, but you sponsored some good drivers back then.
Right.
He goes, yeah, but my media budget was like $3 million in the negative when we started the year. I was like, so I just, when you brought up one cable company, I thought, well, that's a good tie-in for Dish. I was like flabbergasted. I had so many questions for this
I can
guy,
imagine.
but I cut it short. I will do some follow-up, but yeah, he brokered the $3 million Roush deal as he was working for Dish at the time. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there you go. Funny, these little connections you find
every so often. Yeah, you run into people from time in the biz.
Well, it's a smaller world than you think too. I mean,
it is.
It really is. So
anyway, not that we're going to be getting Dish anytime soon,
right?
But still, relevant information, right?
Yeah. We won't be Dish customers or have them as a sponsor, right?
No, well, yeah, that's what we need.
Chances are pretty slim.
Princes are, slim to none. Yeah. Slim to none. So.
Well, Spectrum probably won't be sponsoring us, but either way.
No, they won't. Not after this whole spiel.
No. But hey, so we finally get to talk Daytona. I've been anxious to talk about Daytona. I actually almost, I wanted to do this on Monday, just because I was so excited to talk about it. Now it's been so long since the race happened. But I think we'll have plenty of thoughts on this, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's a fun race. I mean,
it's always a fun race.
You can't ask for a better place to end the regular season at, right?
Right. No, it's not going away.
No. The chaos is great, and I mean, we saw chaos. It wasn't the typical chaotic Daytona race, but
it got there. It was pretty tame, and then all of a sudden, stuff started happening.
Yeah, I would say that Ryan Blaney probably doesn't think it was a tame race.
No. Nope. Not when they're pushing out of turn 3 heading into 4.
Yeah, that was a brutal hit, wasn't it?
Well, I'm kind of glad we are recording today because Media Day was today.
Yeah.
And there was a few nuggets in there. He said that was the hardest hit by far he's ever had.
I can imagine.
And he's had some big hits.
Yeah.
Bob asked him about he had a Nashville hit that was pretty nasty, but Ryan wouldn't give him the numbers, but he said, yeah, this one, no doubt, hardest he's ever hit.
Huh.
And was super, super thankful that the front clip changes were in place.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting.
The flex on that safer barrier. And I mean, if you've ever...
it was incredible.
if you've ever, I mean, we all see the safer barrier on TV and stuff, and you might go to the racetrack and see it. But if you've ever like actually put your hands on one, they don't move. They are super heavy and they are steel.
Yep.
I mean, to see it flex that much just shows you how much.
Like
impact
100
was
yards
there.
each direction. It was nuts.
It was incredible, and thank goodness. I saw a lot of comparisons with the Earnhardt hit. A lot of people saying it was the same place. It wasn't the same place that Earnhardt hit.
It was
the same corner, but Earnhardt hit coming out of 3 into 4.
Yeah.
Blaney, if you watch the videos of where the not that there's any softer of a hit or slower of a hit, it certainly wasn't. But if you watch the videos of where the logo is in the corner, Earnhardt hit well before the logo, and Blaney hit into the logo. Earnhardt stopped at the logo, basically.
I don't. We've had the safer barrier for over 20 years now, and I don't think I've ever seen it put to as good of use as what Ryan Blaney did to it on Saturday night. That was
maybe Eric McClure's hit at Talladega on the inside.
That was a big one too. Yep, that was a big one too.
But this was pretty huge. I mean,
that car didn't slow down.
No, it was wide open in the wall.
It was not. That was it would have been the craziest wreck of the night had other events not happened. But that one stopped me. Like, took my breath away. I was like, whoa. Yeah. And then, of course, everything that happened afterwards.
Right.
But yeah, that was a big one. I'm glad Ryan's okay.
The whole race, you're waiting for it to happen. And then when it finally does, it just goes nuts.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Nothing he can do about it either.
Yeah. Before we talk about the other Ryan crash, let's congratulate the winner, Chris Buescher.
Yeah.
Gets the win, gets the push from teammate and owner Brad Keselowski. To get his 3rd win in 5 races, James.
Yeah, this is the RFK win right here, tag team.
So I ask you yet again, is Chris Buescher a contender yet?
I don't think he's a championship contender, but he's
won on 3 different types of tracks. Yeah. The only thing he hasn't won on is a road course, and he's good at those.
I know. Well, we're gonna talk about our brackets later, and this is all gonna sound extremely stupid, which it normally does. That doesn't matter. I'm having such a hard time being like, yes, Chris Buescher, he's in the championship 4. I will allow
You're that guy that keeps asking Brad the questions because you think Brad's the guy.
I don't know, man. I just don't know. Like, I am thrilled for Chris Buescher, but he's also benefited from some circumstance. It's not like he's gone. Like, Richmond's one thing, but he didn't dominate Michigan. He didn't dominate this race. He just was, very smart, calculated, did a good job. I don't know. I don't see, like, I see the wins. I don't see the contender in the wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't, but okay.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll take you for your word. I don't agree with you. I think the biggest reason he's a contender is because of everything you just said. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think you're the only one who feels that way.
No, then that's fine. That's fine. And, would I be shocked to death if he did make the Final 4? I don't think so. But I think for me, there's some really high level contenders for the championship. I just think he's one step below them.
Yeah, one step below. So I agree with that. And again, I know we'll probably come back to all this with brackets. I agree with that, but there's only 2 spots to me that are solid. Mm-hmm. Like, everything else is up. Nobody else has been consistent this year. Yeah. So there's plenty of room for somebody like Chris Buescher to get in there. Yeah. Plenty of room. Yeah. Especially because nobody's been consistent this year, but who's been consistent right now? Chris Buescher.
He's been, absolutely.
Brad Keselowski. To be quite honest, James, the way it's going right now, both of them could be in the Final 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that far-fetched.
Right.
And
not only that, but guys that are locks, we had a tie for the regular season championship, but the guys that are locks, there's a tie right now at the top anyway.
The 1 seed, the tie for the 1 seed.
Yeah, but one of those guys hasn't been great lately. I mean,
there's comers and goers, right?
so you can't even lock those guys in.
Yeah, it's weird, and the thing with the playoffs too, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit later, but The thing with the playoffs is somebody finds a way through.
Yeah, exactly.
And
well, that's what
last
happens
year-
with the win thing too. I mean, all you
Yeah,
got to
like-
do. I say this like it's easy, but all you got to do is win.
Yeah, and Chris Bell last year was that guy.
Yeah.
He was on the brink of elimination 2 separate times and won his way through. And got to the championship round. And heck, Chastain, the Hail Melon, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that was nuts. So guys, and Hamlin was he was bumped out because of that. So, it's very, when you're talking 3 race sample sizes, it's very, very tough to go through it. But yeah, I mean, what if I'm looking at Chris Buescher, what do I think his ceiling is? I am saying he's, and this is why it's hard for me, but I have him like he can definitely finish 5th in this championship. I have no doubt about that. But getting that one next step, that's the hard part for me right now.
Yeah.
But you look at the schedule.
He won Bristol last year.
That's what I'm saying. You look at the schedule.
He
and
won Michigan this year. Kansas is very similar to Michigan.
Yep.
We go to the next round. He's good on super speedways. He just won a super speedway. So you got Talladega. You got road courses in Charlotte. He's good at road courses. You go to the next round. You got maybe
Vegas.
Homestead's probably the
Homestead.
closest to Michigan.
Yep.
But yeah, Vegas and Homestead, both 1.5-mile tracks. And then you put him in the Final Four, and you got Phoenix, which is very similar to Richmond. And he could sneak one out all the way across. I don't think he does that.
Yeah. And
But-
you can say that about 10 other guys.
That's true.
That's the
true.
That's the hard part. Like, there's obviously, if you're RFK and you're an RFK fan and you're rooting for these guys, you're loving this.
Yeah.
Like you really do have a shot.
Yeah.
Like you really do. But so do 10 other guys, and that's the hard part. And I think just being in the conversation this year, like what we're doing right now, is massive for what that team has overcome in the last, in basically the last 12 months. I mean, they were at the bottom. And all of a sudden they win Bristol with Chris Buescher last year, and man, we're talking about him in a whole different way. And I think they're already, one step away from where they want to be.
Yeah.
I think for moving forward. But good for conversation. I mean, it's tough, man. Because we were talking before the podcast about our brackets, and we'll get to those towards the end, I think. But but man, this is a tough field, man. We got a lot of really good guys. In this field, really good top contenders. Like I feel
If you
like
look
we
at
are.
who's left out. I mean,
Oh man, 1 through 12. 1 through 12 is as tight as I think I've ever seen it. If looking back,
James,
at it.
I honestly had the toughest time since we've been doing brackets, which we did them before the podcast. I had the toughest time.
Me too. I had a hard time.
I had the toughest time just going to the round of 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to knock 4 people out.
Yep.
It's not hard to knock all 4 people out, but it's hard to knock. It's not hard to knock 4.
Well, yeah, like Bubba Wallace is at the bottom of the list, right?
Mm-hmm.
He won Kansas last year. Like,
Right.
what am I gonna?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he can go into Kansas. He might not win, but he'll have a good day.
Yeah,
So it's tough, man. Really tough to figure these guys out.
definitely. Well,
Moving forward.
we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's all one conversation, I feel like,
yeah,
tonight.
it really is. It really is. We could just skip the Xfinity and trucks and just move right into it, but we'll go through those too. So Ryan Preece had a hell of an accident as well. Probably the wildest flip we've seen in a long time,
Yes,
certainly in the
it was,
Cup
yeah.
Series, but across the board. We haven't seen a car flipping grass in a long time. So I think that was a factor here. Able to get out, did stay in the hospital overnight for observation, but he's, as far as I'm aware, good.
He's on the list. He's
Yeah.
on the entry list.
Yeah. So obviously anything can change before the race. I'm sure he had to be, if he hasn't been, still has to be cleared to race. NASCAR is not just going to let him go without being cleared. So, but he may have already been. I haven't seen an announcement or anything
Yeah,
like
we
that.
haven't seen anything yet. I wonder if it's coming down to the
Yeah, for all
game
intents
day decision.
for all intents and purposes, James, I expect Ryan Preece to be in the
Me too.
car this weekend.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
He's a tough dude. And but let's talk about this accident. So the first thing everybody says is, we gotta fix this.
We always got to fix NASCAR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have to fix it? Did something go wrong here?
I mean, the only things I will say, a couple things that scared me.
Yeah.
A couple things that scared me. The velocity of the car crashing. Eric, and you might disagree with me, and please do. Please, I know you're not afraid to let me know.
Oh, no, don't worry.
But when this car reached its maximum height, it got up in the air at such a high rate of speed. I don't know if I've ever seen a car in the Cup Series do that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Rusty Wallace's tumble at Talladega, and that was extremely violent. And we've had some pretty violent ones. Davey Allison.
Yeah.
Pocono.
I think Rusty's Daytona one was about the highest I've seen a Cup car go.
Yeah. Eric, this car seemed to me to gain speed in the air.
Well, I'll tell you what, the craziest view that I saw of this was from the grandstands.
Yeah.
The fan videos and seeing how high above the fence line this car was flying.
Yes.
I mean, it was high up there.
Yes. And Chase Briscoe's in-car camera, the Preece is crashing to his left, and that car is not leaving his view. No. And Briscoe still has 4 tires on the ground. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So back to your main question of trying to fix things. We got to pave that area. That would be my engineering degree coming out, right? We got to pave. We just got to pave it and give these cars time. Now,
do you think that car doesn't lift off without the grass?
I think the car could still lift off.
I think the car is already airborne, regardless of the grass.
But
the grass helped it, but it was going airborne.
But I think if we can eliminate some of the percentage of that car lifting off the ground, whether that's 10% or 20%, I don't know what that number is, but if having that whole backstretch blacktop now helps that just a little bit, I think we got to do it.
Well, here's my question. So that car, I think, is going airborne either way. So when it goes airborne and comes back down, would you rather it hit solid asphalt or dirt that gives?
I don't think it goes as high as it does without hitting that grass.
I don't know, man. I don't think it.
That
really?
Grass seemed like a launching point.
Do you remember Elliott Sadler's flip at Talladega?
Oh yeah,
his car went just as high, and that was asphalt.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
So I think that car comes down on asphalt, and does it hook and roll the way it did? Probably not, but it's coming down hard on the roll cage.
Yeah, I think we'd like to see. I don't know if NASCAR would ever release this data to us, but slowing things down and looking at them from, all of the data and analytics that they have.
Yeah.
There's got to be ways that they can justify, is it the grass that helped us or hurt us, or is it is it blacktop to give this car some more runoff time?
I'm honestly surprised we haven't flipped a car in this grass as long as this grass has been here, because we did it. Darrell Waltrip flipped in this area back in the day, and then they paved the backstretch. But where Darrell flipped, never's been paved. So because it was the access roads that that Preece lifted up on, that was the ones that got Darrell airborne and started him flipping. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm surprised that, and maybe that is my argument, that, man, it's so rare for it to happen. That I don't know, and I don't know how much it hurts the road course racing and stuff, because they have the interloop there. Mm-hmm. I realized we did the interloop with the Cup cars on the front stretch without grass. Yep. But the sports cars and stuff don't use that. They do use the backstretch one, and you race motorcycles and stuff through there.
The bus stop, right?
Yeah, there could be legit reasons why that grass needs to be there. I don't personally think we need to immediately go pave it.
Sure.
I do think the grass contributed to the crash, and I think it contributed to the severity of the crash, but I also don't know if it contributed to the danger of the crash. Like I said, I think because it absorbed impact, because it helped, but I think it caused the car to flip more violently.
Yes, it did.
I think it's also the reason that we lost the window net and the roof hatch.
The fire. What do they call that? The fireman's escape or whatever they call that. The roof hatch thing. Yeah.
Those I think came off because of the grass.
That when you see that in slow motion, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
That area is exposed.
I agree with that, and I think it needs to be looked at. It's certainly something they need to work on. Which you're never going to be able to test it without having a crash like this, and you're going to learn from this.
Yeah.
But I guess I wasn't as worried about it, because if you watch the old flips from the 90s and stuff, the roof came off of all those cars. Those drivers, every one of them were exposed in a flip, and not saying that it was safe back then, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's also not uncommon for the roof to come off when the car flips through the grass. So
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yes, it was a problem, and certainly, especially the window net. Thank God that his arms weren't flailing about and sticking out the window and something like that.
God. And he's a big guy.
Yeah,
he's a big guy.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
Oh my God.
I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's any point in looking at anything trying to help the lift of these cars. I think.
Oh, when they go backwards, they're going up.
When you have a car that's designed aerodynamically to have a lot of downforce, when you turn it backwards, it's going to have lift. There's just no way around it. And now it has this big flat surface on the bottom of it that creates a really nice wing that just lifts it up in the air.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, to be honest, this could happen a lot more places. This could happen at Michigan. This could happen in Atlanta. This could happen at all these tracks because they're going fast enough. Mm-hmm. This isn't because we're doing 190 miles an hour at Daytona, because these cars will do this at 160.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the design of the car. The lift is not as much as what you'd think it would need to be for a 3,500-pound race car to lift it in the air with how aerodynamic they are. So I wanted to say a couple things about this accident because a lot of people were really surprised by it. All Twitter is how amazed people were. They just weren't expecting this type of crash, blah, blah, blah. And I thought it was kind of odd because I didn't find anything that happened really unexpected. First of all, we got to see our first real experience with a car barrel rolling when Chris Buescher did it at Charlotte last year.
Mm-hmm.
And
on fake grass, by the way.
Yeah, on fake grass, exactly. Yeah, so let's not say fake grass is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because that crash was likely caused because of the fake grass. So, these cars are designed A, to not flex, and B, to not come apart. And so they're going to flip differently than the car we've watched flip hundreds of times. And so they're very rigid. And so I mean, you made a comment, I think, that it looked like a Matchbox car. Yeah, because a Matchbox car is stiff. Take a car made out of soft clay and flip it and see what it does. And then take a Matchbox car and do it. Make them the same weight. That Matchbox car is going to flip like this because there's no bend to it.
Yep.
The other thing I wanted to say is with the air and everything is, James, we've seen this flip before. We saw this in 2007 at Michigan, but it wasn't a NASCAR.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
It was Dario Franchitti flying down the backstretch at Michigan.
Yeah.
These things have been made into heavy Indy cars.
Yep.
And they're going to fly like an Indy car. And so when I saw that car flying in the air and doing 3 flips before it hit the ground, all I could think was Dario Franchitti's crash.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good one because that one shocked me too when I saw it happen.
I mean, this certainly wasn't to that level of insanity.
Yeah.
But
Tony Stewart in the 2001 Daytona 500 I thought of as well because his car got extremely high, but there was no velocity to that car. It would it floated, you know.
Yeah.
Those old cars, they just kind of
because they were like a parachute instead of a wing.
Yeah, that car just deteriorated and kind of expanded and then came down in front of the field. This car, I mean,
that's because those cars had so much. The cars lifted back then because they had pockets of air. The air would get into these pockets and lift it like a parachute. Now there's no pockets. It's all just flat surface. So now they fly like a wing, and so they're going to fly differently.
Yeah.
This is coming from somebody who has absolutely no physics experience whatsoever, but I'm just pulling it out of my butt. But that's what I saw. I mean,
yeah, and it's jarring to see a car crash like that. I think for us who watch. I mean, Eric, we've watched for many years, but we've always seen cars that flip. You know, they just kind of deteriorate and spread debris everywhere. I mean, this car
nothing
really
came off of it.
No, it's one of the weird parts. It looked like a video game crash. I mean, I think that's why it looked like a video game crash. Yeah. You know, and
I mean, that says something. That says something for what NASCAR's done with tethers and all that stuff to keep stuff from flying off of it. Because that's what hurts fans.
Yep.
It's not the car going into the catch fence. If the car hits the catch fence, it's the debris that goes through it. So if you can keep the debris attached to the car, you've now made the fans a lot safer as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
exactly. No, and this was a moment though, Eric. Like, definitely the biggest crash we've seen in a long time. Well, definitely the biggest one of the.
It was the last time I remember being concerned like this was Ryan Newman at Daytona.
Yep.
Because we had that moment where you didn't know, is he okay? We aren't hearing anything. The camera shot's wide. Nobody's saying anything. We aren't seeing replays, so obviously there's some question.
Yep, and no reports from the infield care center.
Yeah.
Even though we did see him, which was good. We saw him out of the car, but oh man.
Thank goodness he's okay. You don't want to be a Ryan right now in NASCAR.
No, no, I wouldn't want to be a Ryan, especially last weekend. Did you see the radioactive?
Yes.
From really. I mean, there's something to be said. Like, there's drivers who drive me crazy sometimes, but it's such a brotherhood.
Yeah.
That these guys have. I mean, they were all concerned, and it's because it can happen to them too. But this is one of their brothers out there. I mean, these guys, they may not like each other, they may have rivalries, but they're all doing the same thing, and they all understand this better than anybody.
Well, none of them want anybody to get hurt.
I thought that was kind of cool. No, nobody wants that. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So yeah, I was, man, that was something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good stuff though. It was a great race, a lot of tension, and then that happened, and my jaw was on the floor. I was like, holy cow, we've had 2 of these monster wrecks in this race.
Yeah.
And then a transitional moment, I guess. The red flag comes out, and then we have another.
I was gonna say, so 163 lap race, you went into overtime, 407.5 miles. So that's what your leaders ran, except for Brad Keselowski, who ran a couple extra miles probably. By doing donuts on the backstretch.
At least a half a mile, right?
Yeah. Quarter mile, half mile, something like that. So
yeah,
I missed it originally because I watched the race delayed. I was at the track that night.
Yeah,
so I watched super late.
When it happened.
And so I completely skipped the red flag. So I didn't see any of this and then heard about it afterwards and went back and watched it. But Brad, apparently the car caught on fire, and to put the fire out, he drove around in circles. And NASCAR did not penalize him for this. Do you think Brad should have been penalized for this, James?
I have thought about this, and we've had extra days to think about this. Yeah. And initially I thought, no. And then I thought, well, maybe he should have got sent to the back.
Is it different than getting out and pulling your fender out when you're leading on a red flag?
Let me ask you this question. Let me answer your question with a question.
Okay.
How many drivers in that field, if their car had started smoking like that, would have let the car burn?
No.
Versus what
so this was the argument on DBC this week too, because obviously,
and I didn't listen to DBC, so you might have better insight on that than I do.
Obviously, TJ Majors is Brad's spotter, and TJ was very adamant that everything was the way it should have been. I don't think Brad did anything wrong. I would have done what Brad did. I think everybody would have done what Brad did, and I think Brad is brilliant for doing what he did.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yes, that's what I wanted to get to.
Absolutely
I thought it was
brilliant.
The smartest thing I've ever seen.
But that being said, he should have been penalized because he worked on the car. I think Sterling Marlin was brilliant for getting out of his car and trying to pull out the fender. Because, hey, what if they let him do it? Good on him. But he was penalized and put to the back, which he should have been.
Well, let me ask you this then.
Okay. You can keep asking me questions. I'm not going to change my mind.
What advantage did Brad gain by doing that?
His car didn't burn up.
That's the only thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that a competitive advantage or a safety advantage?
Both, because if his car burns up, he can't race. If he has to get out of the car because his car is on fire, he puts his window net down, he's out of the race.
Right, but here's my other question. So Brad lets that car sit there and start smoldering. Mm-hmm. Where's the safety crew at that current situation?
No, I get it. Again, I'm not saying Brad did anything wrong.
They're not even there to help him because they're tending to the crash on, elsewhere.
But let me say this. If Brad's car catches on fire on the backstretch and the safety crew is there to put it out and they come and put it out, he technically is involved in an incident and should go to the back.
But he's not involved in an incident.
But he is.
But he's not.
I disagree with you. I think he should be. I think he should have some penalty for that. I don't think he should be penalized because he did anything wrong, but I think he should be penalized. He had an advantage. Let
me ask you another question. I'm gonna see if I can get you.
You're not gonna do it.
So these cars, we've had these issues before with these cars. Is that the team's fault or NASCAR's fault that these cars are catching fire in those areas?
Well, I would say it's NASCAR's fault because of the design of the car, but Kevin Harvick still is out of the race at Darlington because his car caught on fire.
Sure.
So
the driver
is no different. No different.
I don't know, man. I like I said, I went back and forth on this, but I think you reward the brilliancy of Brad Keselowski and you let him have his spot back.
I think he should have been sent to the back.
That being said, Sterling Marlin was actually pretty smart when he got out of his car, but that's a written rule.
Right. But again, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Do it. Try it. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays Sterling Marlin would be out of the race. Because you put your window net down, you're done.
Yeah, and Brad said, he goes, I knew what was going on there, but, he's like, my race is over if I catch on fire or whatever it is. Like, it's done. So
no, I don't fault Brad at all. He did exactly what he needed to do. And if NASCAR would have said put him in the back, he would have had absolutely no argument as to why they shouldn't have.
Well, if we're gonna applaud Ross Chastain for his brilliance at Martinsville last year, I think we can applaud Brad Keselowski for being the smartest guy on the track.
Yeah, and I mean, if NASCAR would have penalized,
I wouldn't have been mad about that.
No, I wouldn't have been either. That. I mean, I think it would have been disappointing, but I would have gone like, yeah, that makes sense. It was ridiculous, but good shot at trying it. I'd still, even if he got penalized, even if he lost his chance at the playoffs for that, I still would go, that was a brilliant move. Good try.
Also radioactive, all the drivers laughing at Brad.
I actually was going to, there was a clip on TikTok that was just all the drivers going down. And I was going to pull it for the intro, but I didn't have time to do it.
And I'm like, you guys don't realize like he's smarter than everybody else out there. Right? it was pretty good. Like even Joey was giving it a laugh. But.
The guy is smart. Did you watch the behind the scenes with him that NASCAR.com put out on YouTube?
I didn't see that yet.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a clip that was on TikTok, and he was talking about, so when he bought into the team, all of the toolboxes, everything at RFK now is black.
Oh, I've seen this.
Black
yes,
and
I
white.
did see this.
Yeah.
I did see this.
So it's black and white because the things that you shouldn't be paying attention to should blend into the scenery. So they're all black and white. The cars are what matters. The cars are colorful. So that's pretty interesting. It's just such a Penske mindset,
Yeah. I tell you what, man, he's doing something.
He's a smart dude. I've always thought he was a smart dude.
Super special. I mean, this is what we're seeing now from him and that team is really why I had confidence in him starting up over there.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought it was going to be a mistake, but so far, I just felt like, I don't know. I've been a believer in Brad, and I just think he's been a brilliant race car driver. He's not the best ever, but he is just a brilliant race car driver, and he's got that Penske mindset. And he brought a culture change over there. Yeah, and
it's pretty impressive.
He's going to make a good team owner.
Oh, he's going to be around for a long time. He's the kind of guy we need.
Yep.
In the garage.
Exactly.
I am ecstatic for how he's turned that ship around in the last 12 months. It's just been phenomenal.
Me too. It's a huge accomplishment.
Really great story. It really is.
So Chris Buescher gets the win again, third win in 5 races. Shout out to Eric Almirola, third place finish here.
Gave her hell, man.
Yeah, definitely. Also giving her hell with a 4th place finish, Chase Elliott. When Chase missed the big one, when they showed the replay of him sneaking his way through the big one, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to win this freaking thing. He's going to get in on a win.
I thought it for a minute, and then Kevin Harvick, I thought the race was lost by Kevin Harvick on that last restart when he took the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter that the RFK cars were going to tag team him no matter what, but that last restart when he went to the bottom with Chase, I thought, well, it's over right there.
Yeah,
that's when I lost all hope for anybody else coming out of there.
Yeah,
and Alan Gustafson gets a lot of crap.
Yeah, I saw your
tweet.
Position,
man. Yeah, he did he or did he not put that car
100%.
There, I mean,
as you said in your tweet, Alan Gustafson did not go snowboarding. He did not wreck Denny Hamlin.
Yeah. That's right. It's not Alan Gustafson's fault that team didn't make the playoffs with the driver. Now it did as an owner.
Right.
He's in the owners' playoffs.
Yeah.
So, again, kudos to Alan Gustafson. I'll stand up for him, man. I don't care. I don't like when people get dumped on like that for no reason.
He's a hell of a crew chief.
He's super smart.
Let's put it this way. If he was to get the boot from Chase, everybody in that garage wants him.
Oh, there's a lot of teams that would. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know where
he's not going anywhere.
I don't know where he's at on the list of current crew chiefs right now, but he's not Rodney Childers, but he's probably in that next group right there. I mean, he's one of the best.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. They're not that stupid to pull him out of there.
No, you can't break up any of those guys over there unless you put him with Bowman. I don't know.
The fact that he's in the owners' championship is just proof. The whole failure to this season was the injury.
Yeah.
Or the suspension, honestly, because he might have still been able to get in without the suspension.
Yeah, and if you're Hendrick, you're like, what? You can't break up the 5 or the 24,
right?
Like, those teams are doing what they're supposed to do.
That would be dumb too. So
he's gonna be there. Get used to it.
Hendrick knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, yep. Cookies and milk.
Yeah,
they'll figure it out.
Anybody else worth shouting out in this one, James, before we move out of the Cup Series?
I was gonna say B-Dub, Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, good on him to get in.
Oh man, sweating bullets there for a while though, because there was a lot of guys. There was a lot of guys coming for his spot.
Yeah.
And I know he was super stressed out, but kudos to him for getting in. And I know Kyle Petty gave him some crap this week, and some of it's deserved.
Shut the hell up, Kyle Petty.
What the f*** has Kyle Petty got to do with this?
There you go.
There you go. Thank you. I was kind of hunting for it. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of guys that were fishing for that win. Justin Haley was there for a minute. But yeah, Eric Almirola was probably the big threat.
I'll say it again. The only reason that Kyle Petty is relevant is because he runs his mouth. It certainly isn't anything he did on the racetrack.
Sometimes I find myself agreeing with him, and I have to slap myself on the face a little bit.
No, usually if I start finding myself agreeing with him, I realize I'm wrong.
He gave Bubba a hard time.
I didn't see it, but I saw the people complaining.
I listened to
about it.
I listened to the podcast, and
I pretty much make it my goal to not listen to things that Kyle Petty is in. So.
Yeah, usually I skip it, but this was an important race, so I figured I'd better listen in, get some insights. But yeah, I mean, Bubba gets paid the big. But now that Bubba's done it, he needs to just settle down and just go attack and do his job.
Yeah.
Don't be scared of the moment, man. You got this. Go be strong.
Yeah. I regret every time that I said that Dale Earnhardt Jr. was equivalent to Kyle Petty. God, that was a bad take.
I wouldn't have brought that one back up. I would have let that one go.
Well, I got to own it because I said it, but I was wrong. Damn. Junior's so much more than Kyle Petty ever was.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's not close.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
And continues on after their racing career, so.
Yep. So it goes.
All right. The Xfinity Series was in action as well. I don't know if there's a whole lot to talk about here, but Justin Allgaier finally gets himself his win.
He didn't poop the bed.
Yeah, about time. He had an opportunity to also. He could have made the block at the end and wrecked when Sheldon Creed was trying to pass him, but didn't do it. Held on and got himself his win. Sheldon Creed gets another second place finish.
Yeah, I was going to say, again, we talk about Sheldon Creed.
Sheldon Creed!
Not quite able to get it done.
Yeah.
He's putting some momentum together here now. Back-to-back second place finishes. So maybe it's coming.
How about Parker Kligerman so close to getting himself a playoff spot?
Yeah, and he's got a full-time ride, looks like, for next year. So
yeah.
Good news for him. Things are looking up. I like that.
Good deal. Ryan Sieg, the Sieg guys are always up there toward the front. Ryan gets 6th place finish. Parker Retzloff, 7th place finish. Anthony Alfredo, your favorite, 8th place finish. Yeah.
What happened with Trevor Bayne and oh God. Oh no, who did he have a run-in with?
I don't remember, but
crap. No, he was mad at somebody.
Yeah, I remember, but I don't remember.
Was it Sam Mayer? It might have been Sam Mayer.
I can't remember. I can't.
I know. It's been too long.
I know. I was gonna rewatch the highlights too before this. So I got screwed over on the end of this one because I watched this one delayed too. As I was out watching the All-Star Circuit of Champions sprint cars this night. And
after you got your pricing.
Yeah, right. So I watched this delayed, and because it was extended due to cautions and whatever, the YouTube TV cut off the end of the recording. So
no, of course,
I lost the last restart and had to watch it on YouTube. So
all I could think of was Trevor Bayne comes in, he parachutes in for a race again, and he's already starting crap with people. I'm like, God, good Lord.
Yeah, but Trevor wants really bad to be a full-time driver.
He just wants,
and he is fighting like hell to get it.
Yep.
And I think he gets himself a win, and he does it. I think he gets himself a ride. It's not gonna be the Cup Series, but he can get himself an Xfinity Series ride.
Yep.
I think he might be working toward one anyway.
Can you believe he's 32?
No.
Oh my God, that makes me feel old. He was a baby back in the day.
Yeah, he's still feisty.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, he might be feistier now than he was when he was racing full time.
Yeah, maybe
because he wasn't very feisty back then. He needed to be.
When he was out of the seat for so dang long too. That was
Well, I mean, we look back at where he was at. You know, he gets a lot of crap for winning the Daytona 500 and not doing anything after that. But I mean, he spent a decent amount of time at Roush Fenway, and we know what they were like. So
I don't think people remember he got sick
for
a while. Kind of stunted some of his development.
Yeah.
Eric, I was going to ask you too. Your favorite driver was in this race.
Yeah, she was. I mean, she was. It depends on your definition of in this race, James.
I mean, she was on the grid.
She was on the grid. She was on the racetrack at the same time as the race was going on. Let's put it this way: she was close enough to the field to still manage to get involved in a wreck.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It really is one of the more incredible things.
In case you're wondering, we're talking about Natalie Decker,
Eric's favorite. Yeah. After your rant last week.
Oh, did you see the TikTok of her boyfriend defending her?
No, I don't do that.
For being involved in the accident? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
It was just as brutal as what you'd expect.
All right, link me.
She was I'll have to find it. She was bashing people that bashing people that only have played NASCAR Heat and their opinions on NASCAR. Yeah. So, sorry, Natalie. You suck. And just for the record, it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a girl. She's just not good.
Yeah, it's bad. Sorry. Oh, man.
How many? Wow. What do we got? 2 races left before the playoffs for the Xfinity Series? I don't even remember.
It's dragging. The Xfinity Series takes a minute to.
Ridiculous how long this just for God's sakes, just end the regular season of the same track for all these series.
And
this is so dumb.
The Truck Series has been in the playoffs for about a month.
It's so stupid. Yeah, and they run 2 races.
Yeah.
Stupid.
The Truck Series schedule always baffles me because they come in hot and heavy and then they disappear.
Well, it's because they have to start the season at the same time as the Cup Series, and they have to end the season at the same time as the Cup Series.
And it's just a mess.
But they got half the races.
Ugh, terrible.
Let's see. Parker Retzlaff, highest finishing rookie, 7th place finish. Austin Hill's your points leader, 27 points over Justin Allgaier as we approach the end of the regular season, whenever that happens to be. We'll probably crown a Cup Series champion before they get to the playoffs in the Xfinity Series. So, Truck Series was in action as well. We got to see an old favorite, friend, not favorite. Yeah. The Milwaukee Mile made its return to the NASCAR series, and Grant Enfinger was able to get the win. Pretty much dominated this race until they. I think they had didn't they have a pit stop issue or something that put him back a little bit? He didn't. Well, he won all 3 stages. So he had to come through a ways to get the win at the end, but it was pretty much a foregone conclusion he was winning this race.
Man, that duel with Hocevar was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
That
was the
good.
only fun thing of this race, actually.
Yeah, Carson was giving it to him as hard as he could, but he just didn't have the stuff. But yeah, that was, good Lord. Carson Hocevar continues to impress me now. Like he's gotten now to the point where I think we were hoping he would get to a year ago.
Yeah.
He's starting to really put it together. But Grant was
pretty sure we're going to see him racing on Sundays next year.
Well, we're going to see him racing on Sundays in less than 3 days.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think he'll be in a Cup car next year. I think we'll see him full time in a Cup car next year. That's my prediction.
Got an idea. Yeah, something's going on there. There's a couple of openings that we keep hearing about. We'll talk about that. His
name keeps popping up. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's not going to the Xfinity Series. I don't think.
I don't think so either. Great to have the Milwaukee Mile back on a schedule.
That was good.
But this track just isn't a great track for stock cars. Great for Indy cars. I don't think it's a great track for stock cars. I will say I was very impressed with how high the trucks were running. There certainly was room to run that just didn't lend itself to side-by-side racing. And maybe it's the Truck Series. Maybe you put the Xfinity cars here and they can battle a little bit more. But I wasn't terribly impressed with the racing. And the lack of enthusiasm in the Fox broadcast because they're, a couple 100 miles away from where the race is actually taking place is also just brutal.
Yeah.
It just makes me not want to watch this series, and it's so disappointing.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll get a deal with the CW.
Yeah, maybe. Anybody who will send their announcers to the track would be good. I'm grumpy today, James.
It's all right. It's been you had your internet problem.
It's a long
week.
It's
all good. It's all good.
Somebody else who's a little grumpy, Ty Majeski, gets himself a big penalty. Sounds like they were bleeding tires. Is that what the consensus is?
That's my understanding of it. Yeah, and Carson. Speaking of Carson, one of the reasons that he is so much fun is he just says what he thinks. He's like, well, now it's an even playing field. That was interesting. But yeah, I think that was my understanding of it. They were fiddling with the tires and got slapped pretty good.
Let's see. It was an L2 penalty, right? I believe.
Yep.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, he earned -41 for the day.
There you go.
According to Racing Reference, and -5 playoff points.
Crew Chief Joe Shear has been fined $25,000 and suspended for the next 4 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. I still can't say Craftsman, man. It's been almost a whole season. Craftsman Truck Series Championship Point events. Through Homestead, team and driver have been assessed with the loss of 75 points and 5 NASCAR playoff points. So, slap on the wrist for Majeski.
Big one.
But, yeah, that was 5 playoff points will matter.
Yeah, and I heard Moody say, this is a big deal if he doesn't make the championship 4, but I mean, he's probably making the.
I mean, maybe now that they took the cheat away though, maybe he's not.
I don't know. He's locked into the next round already, so
yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I called this a nothing burger, but I could be wrong on that. I mean, penalties come back to haunt you in weird ways.
Like I said, yeah. I mean, it comes down to me, it's less about the penalty and it's more about whether this takes away competitive advantage that they had.
Yeah.
I mean, were they using this at IRP?
I guess we're going to find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. IRP, ORP, all the RPs.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yep.
Let's talk some news, James. We've got some silly season news. Most of this is silly season. Joe Gibbs says he expects an announcement soon on Hamlin. However, Hamlin was kind of a little...
He was grumpy today.
Yeah, he was not very committal. He said 100% that he wants to return to Joe Gibbs Racing, but not real committed to anything beyond that. So still up in the air what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
I assume he'll sign, and I assume that 2311 will stay with Toyota. But, since we recorded last time, there were a lot of interesting rumors floating around about charters for sale. Stuart Haas might be selling a couple charters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They did ask Denny if he would field 3 teams next year, and he said only if an apocalypse happens. So
here's my question about Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
So he starts this whole brouhaha on his contract, and now he's getting agitated with the media.
Yeah.
I'm like, Denny, you're playing games. And I don't blame him.
None of these guys like media day, though.
I know, but I'm like, you gotta play both sides. I know he's doing negotiating through the media, so
right.
I don't know why he's so grumpy. So I don't know. But Joe Gibbs, I tell you what, he's got one heck of a Word document that he's been using since 1997.
Right?
Because he says the same dang thing every time a contract's up. I mean, this is Kyle Busch all over again. The same text.
Yeah.
It's just that I think it's going to play out a little differently because I think Hamlin comes back, but still.
So
same playbook.
The transcript here. Do you want to stay at Joe Gibbs Racing? 100%. Have you started exploring other options if you don't return to Joe Gibbs Racing? He says, see, that's a play on words. That's not nice. Why would you do that? I have a race team. I always have options. If you're just a driver, you're at the mercy of whoever will hire you. I will hire me. Could 2311 run 3 full-time cars next year? I mean, if an apocalypse comes, yeah. He says FedEx will be on the car next season.
He said the FedEx will be on the 11.
That's what I said. He said FedEx will be on the 11 car. I don't know the details of it, but certainly we're going to continue that partnership that's been 20 years strong. I've got a lot of great relation. I've got a great relationship. The 11, Joe Gibbs, and FedEx. I've got a great relationship with all of them. So,
chose his words wisely.
Yeah. We'll see.
I don't know, man. Ryan Preece said he expects a contract extension in the coming weeks. So I don't know if 2 charters are for sale. They might sell 1 though.
I don't see it happening, man. I don't see it unless SHR is planning on leaving the sport. I don't see the point in selling charters because there's so much money wrapped up into them, guaranteed money by having the charters. That's what's been said all along. I mean, I guess when they're $20 million a pop or $40 million a pop or whatever they are, but I don't know.
Yeah, you got to think long-term earnings versus. But could I make an argument that maybe a 2-car team in this day and age of NASCAR might be a better way to go?
I think Brad Keselowski's already made that argument.
Trackhouse racing.
Yeah.
You're leaner.
Yeah, Trackhouse is doing great this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've had moments. I mean, 2 of the Hendrick cars.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking that, like, maybe if you make things a little bit leaner, run a 2-car team as efficiently as possible. Maybe that's got its advantages. I don't know.
I don't think it does if you want to be one of the top teams.
But it ain't got no sponsorship. That's
I
the
got
problem.
you. I hear you.
I don't know. Smithfield's not coming back. I don't.
No.
Like, that's out there now. Smithfield and Eric Almirola are done. That 10 car is going to need to be filled.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's coming.
You mentioned earlier Carson Hocevar is going to drive the 42 car this weekend at Darlington.
Awesome.
Good for Carson. He was excited. Tweeted today, first time his name's been on a cup car. So that was cool. Good for him. I mean, I guess if he goes and runs well in the 42 car, that shows that he's going to do great in the Cup Series because that car has sucked.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, basically he's going out to run some laps, right? And
he was good in the Spire 7 at Gateway.
Yeah, but Spire's been better than Legacy.
Yeah, outside of Eric Jones, who has just flashes. Just
well, that's the thing is, it's because he's Eric Jones. It's not because the car.
Because he's brilliant.
It's in spite of the car.
Yeah, but maybe I don't know. Show a flash in the 42. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's a ride for him.
Maybe
a couple other teams are looking around.
Yeah.
Some Chevrolet teams sniffing around. So we'll see.
Matt DiBenedetto is looking at plans for 2024. He will be leaving Rackley, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Announced that. Says he doesn't have anything lined up for next year. So
I guess he put that that truck in the playoffs, right? So maybe he's due for an upgrade.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say on Matt DiBenedetto.
Another Truck Series ride? I don't see him going to Xfinity, do you?
I don't know who's going to take him on.
I mean, unless he can convince like Dale Jr. to bring him in and put him in one of those cars.
Like, if you're going to go to the Xfinity Series, especially if you're him, you got to get a junior.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, Junior's cheap. He's not putting anybody in that car without funding.
Right.
I mean, that's how Brandon Jones got the ride.
Joe Gibbs ain't doing it either.
No. So you're not going to get in one of those top teams on charity.
Right.
You're going to have to earn it, and you're going to have to bring sponsorship, and Matt has historically not brought sponsorship with him.
Yep.
That's been his biggest problem.
Yep.
I don't think it's ability. I think it's lack of sponsorship.
Yep.
So.
I think so.
AJ Allmendinger may be replaced for 2024 in the Cup Series. This came out today. Apparently, there was talk previously to have Austin Hill replace AJ next year before the Haley announcement. Before Haley announced he was leaving, and AJ would have returned to the Xfinity Series for Kaulig. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, Chris Rice said on DBC this week that they have the 31 car filled. An announcement will come in the next couple of weeks. He said it will shock the world, was his quote.
Okay.
So who? First of all, it's Chris Rice. So he is a bit of a salesman. Him and Matt Kaulig do their own thing. But let's just say
Jeff Gordon.
Let's just Let's just say he really is going to shock the world. Who would shock the world by signing with Kaulig to go in the 31 car?
Tony Stewart.
Realistically, who would shock the world?
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Realistically, who would shock the world? There was rumors that maybe a Formula One guy or something.
Denny Hamlin.
Is it SVG? Would SVG shock the world?
No. Well,
I mean, nobody's expecting him to go there, right?
Maybe some other parts of the world. Maybe.
Chris Rice said he was asked in the Q&A portion which driver he has, or name a driver that he's come the closest to signing that he didn't sign. And his answer was Kyle Busch. He was in talks with Kyle Busch last season, and it got far along, he said.
Kyle's not leaving Richard right now, though.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just saying it's interesting that Kaulig was an option last year, and that they were close.
That team sucks. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is Carson Hocevar? Would Carson Hocevar shock the world?
No, it has to be a big name to shock the world.
That's what I would think. Justin Allgaier?
Noah Gragson?
Noah Gragson was rumored. Would that shock the world?
No.
I mean, I can't think of anybody unless it's somebody from some other series.
It's got to be somebody from the Hall of Fame. That's it.
Trevor Bayne?
No, it can't be SVG. He's going to do the Trackhouse thing.
Is he though? I mean, they need a charter.
Why would you kick out AJ Allmendinger for SVG?
Yeah, he's not going to run the Cup Series full time next year. There's no way.
Think that's it. I don't think that's it.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if he's just being a salesman or what.
Hopefully, no sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Speaking of DBC, they talked schedule a little bit on there. Chris Rice again said to expect at least one doubleheader on the 2024 schedule. They've got the 2-week Olympic break that we're expecting to happen again next year, which I hate, but it's going to happen anyway. And the way to do that without having to end the season later or start the season earlier is to double up a race. However, he said that in this doubleheader, it will not necessarily or even likely be the same track. Instead, 2 tracks that are close together. They suggested like a Martinsville and a Richmond, or
that was my
that
was my first guess.
And it would not be a Saturday-Sunday doubleheader. It would be a Wednesday-Sunday doubleheader, which I'm guessing you're excited about that, right? Wednesday night?
Like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. I like a random midweek race.
Yeah.
I mean, COVID. One of the good things about COVID was there was nothing going on, and we had weekday races that I actually kind of enjoyed. So
yeah, if you want to make me deal with a 2-week break, give me a doubleheader somewhere like this.
And make those bad boys 300 miles long.
Yeah,
let's roll. Let's go.
And I will say that the Saturday Sunday doubleheader didn't work. From a competition standpoint, it didn't work because
unfortunately
the car that was good the first day was good the second day.
Yeah, and also unfortunately we didn't see the business aspect of it because it was it was scheduled to happen and then COVID hit and we never really got to see what it would have looked like. So
yeah, I don't think it lined up for what they were hoping it would be. So.
No, like Kevin.
But I like this.
Dominated Michigan and
yeah,
so. But yeah, I'm good with a Wednesday, and as long as I would love to see. Oh man, I don't know. As long as it's not in the playoffs, the playoffs need to be once a week.
How about North Wilkesboro and Darlington?
Would be fine.
Those are close together.
They got lights. They gotta have lights.
Or North Wilkesboro and Charlotte. Those are close together. Those are even closer together.
Or Nashville and Bristol.
Yeah, Nashville and Nashville. I mean, that won't happen next year, but how about in the future?
Double Nashville, yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, that would be sick.
Can you imagine?
2 different types of tracks. Oh man, yeah, I'm all for that. Yep, I like that.
Be awesome.
Yep.
Let's do Charlotte and Charlotte. We'll run the oval one day and the Roval the next.
Well, I got one. Well, no, it wouldn't work. No, I was thinking Montreal and something, but
yeah,
you have to have lights. That's the thing.
You got to cross the border too. That border crossing is gonna be a pain.
Montreal Watkins Glen would be an interesting one, but
yeah. I think that the task of crossing the border with the Cup Series is going to be a lot bigger than crossing the border with the Xfinity Series.
Yeah,
it's a lot more stuff you got to get across the border.
Yeah. Yep.
So, any other news? Did I miss anything? So we can talk for 2 hours now on the playoff bracket.
Oh God, no. I think we're good. I didn't see anything on the Twitters. Let's get into the playoffs.
Let's talk playoffs. So the main thing I want to do here is I want to rather than go through our entire bracket like we've done in the past, what we're gonna do is we'll kind of hint around, but the plan is I think to go first 4 out, and then we will name our final 4 and our champion, rather than go through the whole thing. So. On that note, I got to figure out who my first 4 out are because I just filled in the bracket. I didn't fill out who I left out.
Well, I'm ready if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead. Who are your 4 out, James?
Okay, so I've got let me grab a pen while I'm doing this. I've got McDowell out.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm leaning away from the microphone. I've got McDowell out. I've got Stenhouse out. I think those are the easy ones. I've got, let me see, I'm just making sure I'm looking at this correctly. Ross Chastain is out. He hasn't done anything to prove me otherwise. Would you disagree with that? Well, I guess we'll talk about yours.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I have, this is going to make people mad, Ryan Blaney.
Okay.
Ryan Blaney out.
Okay, give me your 4 real quick again because I was half paying attention because I made changes to mine.
And
then they didn't all stick, so I gotta remember what I made.
I got Ross. I'll start at the top. Ross Chastain out. Ryan Blaney out. Michael McDowell out. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. out.
So I have everybody that you have except for I have everybody you have except for I don't have McDowell, and I don't have Chastain out.
Okay, so you got Blaney out too.
I do have Blaney out.
What does that say about Ryan Blaney right now?
I don't know. They're just not consistent. So I have Ryan Blaney out. I have Tyler Reddick out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I just don't think that they've done enough lately to get into the next round.
Well, and they keep screwing themselves up. Actually, that's not a bad. That you saying that's got me thinking about it a little bit. But I think about I can't get past Kansas. I cannot get past Kansas, and maybe that's the fault of my bracket so far. Is maybe just one 2311 car can get through.
Well, and
maybe two of them can't.
That's where my last one is, because I think McDowell gets in. I think McDowell has been good enough lately that he's going to get into this round. I don't think he's going to move beyond this round, but I think he gets into the round of 12. I think Kevin Harvick has already retired. Honestly, I think Harvick's attitude today showed it. I think Harvick's attitude previously showed it.
I don't know if you know Kevin Harvick that well.
I think Harvick is already retired. He is ready to be done.
I put
he's
Kevin
going to come.
Harvick.
He could come out and win Darlington.
What's his nickname?
I got it, but I'm telling you, he's done.
He's a killer.
He's done.
Kevin Harvick is going to pull the 2011 smoke show and win 5 of these things and take the championship.
So I have Harvick out, and I have Bubba Wallace in.
Yep, I got Yep, that's fine.
And I think there's going to be some shockers like that. So
yep,
that's where I'm at.
Yep.
So Final Four. Who's your Final Four, James?
Should we do the round of 8? Should we do the round of 8?
Do you want to? We weren't going to go through every round, but we can.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
We're gonna post these brackets on the website. So if you guys want to go to thesuperspeedway.com.
Yeah, we can do that.
So I mean, we can go through 8 if you want to. We can knock our next 4 out.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So my Final Four. Let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Let's do it this way. I'm gonna say a name, then you say a name. We'll see how many we have in common.
Okay, go ahead.
William Byron.
So I had him out originally, and I couldn't do it.
You can't do it, right? It's too hard.
I feel pretty confident that he's not going to make the Final Four, but not confident enough to take him off the bracket.
So he's in.
So I gave him. We both have Byron.
All right. Now you want to
go? Sure. The obvious, Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah, we got Truex.
Yeah,
yep.
Truex.
Both okay. So we got 2 for 2, Byron and Truex.
Now is where we're gonna differ.
We might.
Okay.
I'll go with the one that you'll probably be able to guess.
Okay.
Kyle Larson. I got Kyle Larson in.
I do not have Larson in.
Inconsistency?
Yeah. And honestly, Larson to me is interchangeable with Byron. There is going to be a Hendrick car in the Final Four. It's just a matter of which one it is.
I have a hard time, and this is why I can't get rid of him. He's the best driver in the sport.
No, I agree, but I don't think he's been the best driver this year.
That's fine.
Here's the problem with Kyle Larson. Okay, so I don't remember what podcast it was that I listened to that said this, but it was a really good point. And not that Larson was bad last year, because he ran great last year, but Larson's problem with this car is that Larson is a dirt racer. Larson races sideways. He races a loose race car. This car races like an Indy car. It doesn't go sideways. It's straight. It's locked in. As soon as you get it sideways, you spin.
Who's driving an Indy car next year?
I know, but that doesn't mean he's going to win it.
I know, I'm just joking. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I just don't think that this car suits Larson like the old car did.
Oh, well, fair enough.
I'm not saying, I still think he's probably better than 90% of the drivers out there, even not being as good as he was last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the best driver in 4 wheels in the world right now.
Yeah.
For sure, by far.
Yeah, best driver in the world.
But I could see Larson making the Final Four, but in that case, then Byron doesn't. I don't think both Hendrick cars make it, but one of them does. I can't count Hendrick out.
So we've got disagreement here.
Yes. So my replacement for Kyle Larson is Denny Hamlin.
Okay.
I'm iffy on Denny Hamlin because I feel like Denny he's already making excuses. I think you said that.
Yes, he is.
So
he's already started. His foot hurts and all this other nonsense he's doing.
It's Denny, man. I think Denny makes it. I think he's going to power through.
See, I don't have Hamlin. I'll say that. But I think my version of the chalk, right? You were to say go chalk and the 4 guys who would automatically be in.
Yep.
Byron, Larson, Truex, Hamlin. I think those are like the favorites, right? Those are the guys.
That's definitely the easy way to go.
Yes, I think so. I think
And
that's
I'd be pretty. I would put money in Vegas on that.
But we know, yes, but what do we know about the playoff? Somebody finds a way.
Yeah. Then I've got that somebody, but it's not.
I think I do too. And you're gonna, if you take it, I'm
probably gonna be the same one. Well, you get to go next, so.
No, I said Larson, and you said,
I did. That's right.
Yeah. So okay, you get to pick the first one this time.
All right. We might have the same one just because of things you've said. It's Chris Buescher.
Oh no, it's not. I don't have
really?
Chris Buescher.
I have Chris Buescher making the Final Four.
You want to know who I picked?
You picked Brad.
You're. Yeah, I did.
See, it's hilarious because Brad's not the guy there right now.
It's such a contradiction of everything I believe in.
That's funny.
So here's what I did. I actually had Chris Bell here, and I kept thinking to myself, no, I haven't seen enough out of Chris Bell. I don't like it. But
I don't have Bell making 8.
I have Bell making 8. I just think that he's still too fast not to make 8. But see, that's the thing. Like, who do you kick Bell out for? Like, I got Buescher going all the way to 8. I got Reddick going all the way to 8. But
where do you have Kyle Busch? Where's Kyle Busch fall out for you?
I got Kyle Busch eliminated in the round of 12.
Wow.
I don't like what I'm seeing.
See, Busch was a Final Four for me. I changed it at the last minute.
Oh, you did?
Because I think Busch is another one of those guys that Joey Logano's the same way. It's really hard to make a Final Four without putting Joey Logano in there.
I know, but I don't like the round of 12 for Kyle. Yeah. Outside of Texas, I don't like Talladega for Kyle, and I don't like Charlotte for Kyle.
That's true. That's a good point.
I don't like either of those tracks for him. That's why. And
that's a good
Joey,
argument. And
Joey was really hard, and I had a hard time with Joey. I got Joey.
I don't think Penske's good enough right now.
Yeah. But there's always guys who advance who shouldn't advance, and that's the hard part for me is I'm trying to identify guys who shouldn't advance.
Right.
But one thing I really like about Brad, and I like this for Brad over Kevin Harvick even, is Brad's just there, and he's gaining a ton of stage points, and I think he's going to get all the way through. Now he's going to have to win a race, and that's where my big contradiction is. I think you got to win a race to get to 4. He's got to win somewhere along the way.
I think the only way you don't win a race to get to 4 is if Truex and Byron win a race.
Right.
If Truex and Byron win one of those 3 races in the round of 8, then there's a chance for somebody to get out on points.
Yep, and it's well documented. You cannot win the championship without winning a race somewhere along the way, whether that's the one at Phoenix or somewhere along the way.
Be the last one.
And that's where I struggle. And I know what I sound like when I say, oh, you got to win. I believe all of these things, but I do believe that there's something special going on with RFK, and maybe Buescher doesn't get through, but one of them might. And if there's going to be one upset in this group here, why not Brad Keselowski? Why not him going to Talladega and winning? Why not Brad having a good run at Homestead? Or any of these places. Like I think if I'm gonna make a reach on somebody, and that's what I'm doing here, I'm gambling. I'm gonna reach for somebody I got faith in. I got faith in that guy. Now that being said, Chris Buescher is the better of the two in that team, and I sound like an idiot. So, but it is what it is, man. You gotta take a couple of risks. I'm gonna take a risk here. I'm gonna throw him in there.
My original Final Four was Truex, Busch, Larson, Buescher. That was my original one, and I changed it.
That's a good Final Four. That's a good Final Four. Yeah.
So.
I had an icky feeling about Chris Bell. I was just like, I don't like it for some reason. I wasn't sticking with me. And I didn't want to put Hamlin in there.
So I'm going to predict this right now. We both have the same champion.
We probably do.
MTJ?
No, we don't.
I got MTJ.
Nope.
Martin's my champion.
Yep, I'll take Byron.
I don't think so. I'd be happier with Byron. But I think Truex is a champ.
And see, this is again me sounding like a dumb, you know what?
Well,
of course James picked William Byron.
Of course.
Ugh. Eric, the last time we raced at Phoenix, who won?
Was it William Byron? I don't remember.
It was William Byron.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How many times have people gone back to back on tracks with this car?
Not very often. Yeah, not very often.
Exactly.
Not very often.
Truex is gonna win the championship. This is Truex's year, man.
Maybe.
I think it is.
It's going to go from not being in the playoffs to winning the title. Is that what Joey Logano did?
He's going to go from not only not being in the playoffs, but like everybody having him retiring at the end of the season.
Jeez. Did it? I think Logano did that, where he
I don't think he missed. I don't think he's missed the playoffs completely at all, has he?
He did. Yeah, he did. Remember, he won a race, but it got encumbered. Do you remember this?
Oh, that's right. You're
Yeah,
right.
he went. Yeah, he did.
That was his first one. Yeah.
Yeah, he missed 2017. He finished 17th in points.
You're right. I forgot about that.
Yep, and then he won the 2018 Cup.
Yep.
So yeah, there you go, pulling the Joey Logano.
Yeah.
17-1.
This just feels like one of those years to me that is just this. This is a Truex type of year.
He's the favorite.
He's been the front runner all year. That's how Truex wins races. He dominates races. He's going to dominate the championship.
He is the favorite. If I had like gun to my head, I would probably have to say Martin Truex Jr. Go with my heart.
He's going to be good this weekend at Darlington. He'll be good at Kansas. He's good at Bristol.
Yes.
Next round, he's great at the Roval. Mm-hmm. I can't remember how he does at Texas.
He'll be fine. He'll be fast. Think about Michigan and what he did there. He'll be fast.
He's got Martinsville in the round of 8.
Yep, he'll be good there. Byron will be good there as well.
Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be fun. I love it. I love this time of year.
Like I said, this is the toughest bracket I think I've had to fill out.
Yeah.
Because I think we have a clear cut 2. I think Truex and Byron are definitely. I think Truex even is the 1A to Byron's 1B. And I can't count out Kyle Larson. I just can't. I can't. But Denny Hamlin's right there too. So, I mean, this is pretty stacked. And you can tell me Kyle Busch is going to make a run. Yeah. I haven't seen it out of him lately, but like crap, man, he could break everybody's bracket. So,
if you look at, give me 3 drivers out of the top 16 that are not going to win the championship. Can you do that? You can say that
let me try.
That you would be willing to put. Let's say you would be willing to put $1,000 down, James.
Okay.
These 3 drivers will not win the championship this year.
I think I can get you to 4.
Really?
I don't get you to 4. I didn't get you to 4.
I don't think I can give you 3.
Let me try.
Okay.
Bubba Wallace.
You'd put $1,000 down that Bubba's not going to win the championship.
Yeah, he's not mentally tough enough.
Okay.
I would say he won't win it. He can't win a championship. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Okay, I'll give you that one. I agree with that one.
Michael McDowell can't.
Yep, I agree with Michael McDowell.
There's no way. So there's 3.
I don't have another one. I have Michael McDowell and Stenhouse. I can't give you a third.
As much as I want to, I can't say Ross.
No, he can. He's proven
find a horseshoe.
Ross has proven he can get in the Final 4.
Yes, and he can win.
Reddick is good enough at times, and even though I've got him falling out in the first round, he's good enough at times to where he could do it. I think Bubba could, and Bubba's questionable for me, but I think he could. We know Harvick can.
I don't dare say anything bad about Kevin Harvick at this stage of his career.
Yeah,
I won't do it.
I can't bet against any of the rest of these guys, but Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Michael McDowell will not win the championship this year.
Yeah, I just you close your I do this. This is one of the tests, right?
Yeah.
Close your eyes and envision these guys hoisting the cup at the end of the championship season.
Right.
Michael McDowell's not in that vision.
No, they're not good enough, and I don't think they expect. They're hoping to get to the round of 8 is what they're doing.
Yeah, get good points.
They're not going to make the Final 4. I'd put $1,000 down that Michael McDowell's not making the Final 4.
There is a part of me that's also rooting for Chase Elliott to make the Owners 4.
Yeah, I'd love to see Chase Elliott win the Owners Championship.
Yeah,
it'd
just be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, I just like to see it shaken up.
Just for chaos purposes, I'm all about that.
Yeah, did you hear what Dale Jr. said on his podcast this week?
No, I didn't. What did he say?
He talked about the fact that Chase Elliott's in the running for the Owners Championship, and he says that's the last time we should ever talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
It's the Drivers' Championship. That's all that matters. We don't care about the Owners' Championship.
Gluck and Bianchi started their podcast with a good 10 minutes on Chase Elliott after the. And
that's because Gluck's got a love affair with him right now.
Oh, God.
I called it. How many weeks ago did I call it? He wasn't making the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. I was. Yeah. The car making the playoffs and him not winning is kind of baffling, though. Yeah. That car's good enough to win. I don't know.
I agree.
Well, it's weird. He might win some races here. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's our playoff picks. We'll post the brackets on the website, which means you got to send me your bracket, James. So I can add it to the notes.
Oh yeah, I'll send you. Maybe what I'll do is I'll fill out one of the virtual ones. And
that's what I did. I used my Apple Pencil that I spent $130 on a couple years ago that I use like 4 times a year. I used it to fill in. Well,
you got your money's worth. You filled out your bracket.
Yep.
Good job.
I think that's about the only thing I use it for every year. All right. Well, we're going to Darlington this weekend. We've already extended this long enough. Let's make our picks for Darlington. James, we get to wipe the board clean.
Yes.
We get to pick,
and now we have to compete with drivers again.
Yes, we get to make our pick from anybody on the list. I just said that I didn't know that I could put him in my final four, but I'm going swinging at Darlington. I'm taking Willie B as my pick this weekend.
You son of a gun.
Sorry, I got to do it, man. I got lots of points to make up.
Yeah, that's all right. I was going to take him.
I figured. That's right, that's the biggest reason I took him, is I knew you were.
Yep. So Byron gets your vote. Boy. That throws a wrench in my scheme here.
There's a lot of good picks this weekend, though.
Well, I mean, we got our driver.
Byron's got the best average finish here, so.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna use him here, maybe I'll save him. I'll stash him away for a little bit. But the problem is Phoenix. Like, we got to count for points.
That's right.
Phoenix,
yeah.
So we might. All right. Well. Huh. I got some. Let me see.
I like that I made you think.
You did make me think. This hasn't happened in a while.
You didn't have a backup plan. You didn't think I was gonna pick William Byron?
Yeah, I know.
Come on, man.
Give me Rowdy.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That was the other one I was looking at.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get him. I didn't think he would do it. You've been so frustrated with me for doing the Wilhelm thing that I didn't think you would do. I didn't think you would do it.
I didn't want to, but I got to be realistic. He's gonna run up front.
He'll get your points.
I mean, he's got two top tens here. The third one would have been a top 10 if he wouldn't have gotten wrecked going in the corner by Logano.
Yep.
He's a shoe-in.
Yes. Yeah.
So, fantasy update, James. How'd fantasy go this week?
Not great.
I didn't even look at it until today, so.
Not great.
I knew it wasn't good for me.
Yeah, it's just I'm in the middle of a bit of a tailspin here, and now it's taking its sweet time loading as I just had it open, so that's good.
Of course it is.
So, just a reminder, we do get starters back.
Yes.
Everything resets 5 starts. So that means officially Barron Speedway has clinched the championship because we're not catching that guy. Team Justin gets our win from Daytona. Tandem Draftona is second, and Ranger, the 3-time champ, is third. Barron Speedway fourth. Hamlin was fifth. I was sixth. Eric, where the heck are you?
Yeah, I was way back.
Yeah, you were back there. Ninth. Oh, you're not that bad. Not that bad. We got snake bit by the, big crashes and stuff.
Yeah.
Overall standings, I think we got a little shake up here. Yep, I bumped all the way from second to fourth. So it's been tight. But yeah, Barron Speedway 52.86. Tam Draftona goes to second, 49.23, and Ranger is third. So I got some work to do to get my second place trophy back. Green Eggs and Hamlin right behind me, nipping at my heels. So we're pretty close, 5-2, really close. Eric, you're just on the outside of that.
Yeah.
About 150 points behind fifth.
Yeah. I'm used to 150 points behind.
It's terrible. I mean, I'm going to end up, I did, I don't know. At least I finish, top 3 or 4 every year. So I guess I can shoot for that.
I care way too much about my picks every week for how bad I do.
Oh, it's driving me nuts now. It's driving me nuts. I hate it. I've conceded that I won't win, but I want to finish second, and now I'm starting to stumble. So that's not fun.
Any shout outs this week, James?
Yes, I do. Well, shout out. Well, I'll save this one for my Black Flag, but I do have a shout out. Actually, you shared this with me after I seen it, but I thought it was really cool, and I hope I'm not stealing it from you.
No, you're not.
Okay, the slide job car was on the NASCAR history account, and just awesome.
Yeah.
Just awesome. I saw this earlier. This guy named Ryan Shelton is the one you shared. Pretty cool. I saw this on Twitter, but it's awesome, man. The Kyle Busch slide job car, all wrinkled and torn up.
Yep.
Just a beautiful piece of machinery.
Beautiful piece of NASCAR history.
It is. If somebody said that that car was in a building and I walked in and saw it, I'd be excited.
Yeah.
And you were there for it. You've seen that car before.
I was there.
Yep.
There on the front stretch when Kyle Busch made the crying symbol. It's right there, just beyond the catch fence. I'm in the video. You can see me in the broadcast.
That's so good. That's so good.
James, can I do a non-NASCAR shout out?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, that's what I'm going to do. So I found a new podcast. You guys listen to podcasts. After you listen to ours, go check out, as a late night fan, go check out Strike Force 5.
Yep.
all the late night guys, John Oliver, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, and Stephen Colbert have started a podcast to support their staff during the writer's strike. And damn it, is it not freaking hilarious?
Yeah, my podcasting hero Bill Simmons is behind this one.
Yeah.
So, he was the one. I guess him and Jimmy Kimmel had some conversations about doing this, and then Simmons was like, "Well, now's the time." So
I found out about it the way I find out about everything, James. I found out on TikTok, and I immediately subscribed, and it is worth the subscription. So please listen to us first, and then listen to them. But definitely worth a listen. So
my wife got me on Smartless, and I don't listen to it very often, but dang it, dude, when you got some funny people that get together, it's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Even in podcast form.
I've been a big fan of Conan's podcast, and I
listen to Conan.
This is better, I think.
Yeah, Conan. I don't listen to every Conan, but there's times where I listen.
Yeah, I seek out specific guests. Although I do love listening to him and Sona, but I've never not enjoyed a Conan. Well, I take that back. There is one Conan episode that I did not enjoy, and that was the guy who plays Ron Swanson. And his wife. I did not like that podcast.
Yeah, they're an interesting pair when you get them together.
Yeah, I did not enjoy that.
Nick Offerman.
Yes. Yeah. I don't like her very much. And God, I sound like a woman hater on this show. I'm not, but I'm not a big fan of...
You're into the podcast doing it again.
I'm not a big fan of her, and then Nick Offerman played a character basically on the show, and I didn't like it. It wasn't good. So that's the only one I've ever shut off. How about black flags? James, got a black flag? You said
I'm going to give one to myself.
Oh, nice.
I purchased the $9.99 NASCAR Heat 5 2022 pack.
I thought you were going to tell me you purchased Twitter Blue like I did.
No, I'm not doing that.
I unsubscribed from it already, by the way.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Good for you. No, I downloaded NASCAR Heat 5's new 2022 Next Gen pack, and it's as crappy as you could possibly imagine.
Dude, I can't believe when that company doesn't go bankrupt, and I'm going to blame it on you.
Well, my $10 isn't going to save them.
I don't know. It could be what they needed.
Well, so here I'll give you my experience real quick. You get the pack, and you game loads up, and you can pick between 2020, which you currently had, and then the new 2022 set. So I go, okay, 2022. No additional paint schemes, just one paint scheme per car.
Mm-hmm.
You get a career mode, which has no depth, but you get to pick between Rick Ware, Spire, and some other crappy team. So I picked the Spire 77. I'm like, oh, it's a decent enough ride. Hop in there. Figure out I can't do any setups other than I can make the car loose or tight. Mm-hmm. And then I put my name on the back of the car, which I can see when I start practice. It says Cush on the back. I'm like, great. Pan around the camera as I get a good look at the car. It says Castle on the hood, on the front hood. I'm like, my God, this is terrible. Other than that, it's drives like NASCAR Heat 5, but you can't do anything with these new cars. So
yeah, it sounds exactly like the new game that they sold me that I paid for way back on the Nintendo Switch.
Boy, we got screwed on that whole.
Yeah, I paid $40 for that game.
Oh, well, maybe I got the better deal out of it.
I think you did. It's basically the same thing, except it loads into a different game than NASCAR Heat. So
oh, it's terrible. Oh my God.
That being said,
I can drive, and it's which is better than NASCAR Ignition was so bad.
It's almost next month. I think October. I think it's October 13th. The sprint car game from iRacing comes out on the Nintendo Switch, so I'm pretty excited about that because I've resisted buying it on the PS4 so I can save it for the Switch. So,
yep,
because there's nothing going to be better than playing sprint cars on the go.
Yeah, I've had sprint car games in the past on console, and they've been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
they usually do a pretty decent job with them.
My black flag, James, you're going to laugh. You're going to enjoy it very much so. You're probably wondering if I was going here.
Better not be a girl.
No, it's not a girl. So I am not going to name the name, but there is a racetrack, James, that is nearby to us. Yep. There's a couple of them actually, but one of them is a local track for us that is very dear to my heart. And they have come up with a practice where they do not post the price for tickets on their website, on their social media.
It's been the joy of my life watching this process.
On anything. And I just don't understand the strategy of not posting ticket prices, because if you're not going to come because of the price of the race, you're not going to come when you don't know the price, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't see how they're bringing extra people in by doing this. And then when you have a big national touring series that comes in and everybody wants to know how much it is to get into the race and you don't post it until 3 hours before the race starts, it's a little ridiculous. Fortunately, I live 9 minutes from the track, so I still went when they finally decided to open the post the prices.
Man of his word.
But I will not name the track. If you guys know me or if you're friends with me on social media, you know what track I'm talking about. And I will stand on my soapbox all day long and tell you to go support your local short track. These guys, it's a tough business. They don't make money doing this. I mean, none of them make money. They scrape by. When they fill the stands on a weekend, they're breaking even. And when they have a bad turnout, they are losing their butts. And I've been close to a track owner before. I've seen the stuff that they deal with. So go support your local short track. But please, if you're a short track owner, post the damn price for tickets. So I know how much I'm spending. If I'm bringing my whole family, I want to know how much it costs to do that. Is it going to change my mind if you're charging $40 for tickets for a touring show? No, it's not going to change my mind. I'm still going to come because it's worth it to me. But I want to know how much money I need to have with me to go there. So it's a principal thing. It really irritated me last week.
Watching you was one of the joys of my life as you trolled away.
Yeah.
And toiled. And then you started a movement.
I did.
And
I will take all the credit for that movement too.
Yeah, and at what point I sent you a gif of Jesus Christ. Because my God, it was what an experience. I missed it, and then you brought it back for me this week, which was even more special.
And just to be clear, I posted multiple times on social media on this track. I private messaged them on Facebook at this track. I sent an email to the track owner specifically for this track. The only thing I didn't do was call the number, but other people did and also didn't get an answer. So there you go. But they finally posted to Facebook, like I said, about 3 hours before the race started, and I made the trip out there and got to watch.
Incredible.
Got to watch some racing. So
incredible.
Meanwhile, if I want to shout anybody else out, Owasso Speedway did a terrific job last weekend with the super late models. Huge field of cars, great racing. Show went late again. They're still learning over there what to do to get shows in on time and stuff, but the stuff that their money they're putting out there is worth it too. So Owasso Speedway, great place to go check out a race. Not at all related to the aforementioned track that shall not be named. So there you go. James, where can people get you on social media if they want to reach out to you during the week?
At James Cush on X, Twitter, whatever the heck it is.
You can find me at T Super Speedway on X. You can find me at eYoungDBM on Threads. I'm still trying to do the Threads thing. So they got a desktop app now, so it's a little better. But Facebook, you can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperSpeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on there, old episodes, race coverage, and you can find James and my brackets on there as well. So go check that out, thesuperspeedway.com. The podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Anchor. We know you found us somewhere today, so wherever you found us, please subscribe and continue to listen to new episodes each week. And if you go to anchor.fm/thesuperspeedway, you can leave us an audio message and we might just play it on the show. We're paying a lot of money for that feature, guys, so please do that and leave us a message. I'm kidding, it's free, but please do it anyway because it's fun to interact with you guys. So leave us a message there, anchor.fm/thesuperspeedway. The playoffs start this weekend. Darlington Raceway looks like the Hurricane has moved out, so we don't have to worry about that. We get to see some good racing this weekend. The NASCAR Cup Series will begin their first round, and we'll see how bad James and my brackets are screwed up right off the bat at Darlington. So we'll be back next week to break it all down and talk about Darlington and preview the next race. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.